How do we stop the indoctrination of students with the so-called decolonised curriculum then?
You know, I think it really has to come from parents and in some ways, ideally from the students themselves, but the social pressures are immense on them. So, you know, really what we're seeing in the United States is in both public and private schools, a parent movement to return to sanity and to break away from grouping students according to their minoritized status or their majority status, whether that's ethnically or their privileged status. And yeah, I've heard since my article came out and the recordings were published, I've heard from so many students in these schools telling me that their experiences match up with what I saw in my school. And, you know, they're particularly, I believe, upon the Black students or what's called the BIPOC students that has some of the worst impact. Because as I heard from some students that they say, you know, what am I supposed to be? Well, you are a minority. And who am I? Well, you're supposed to be angry. And what am I supposed to do? And so it's a self-fulfilling kind of prophecy.
No, I understand all of that. I'm very concerned about the demonisation of white people for being born. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Well, in their ideology, the idea is that, much as you said in a segment a few weeks ago, was that even 3-month-old babies can be racist. Yes. If they prefer their parents who happen to be, or the skin color of someone who happens to be the same race as their parents. And so they, from these types of studies, which are hard to replicate and a little bit shoddy, they conclude that all of society has racialized us to the point where our biases determine what we think, what we say,
absolutely,
and how we act.
In a really, really, really hypocritical way. What this does is remove almost individualism, remove the individual from this process at all. It pigeonholes people, groups them all together, shoves them into tiny little boxes and tells them how to think. And at the same time as, in my opinion, undermining black people and the intelligence of black people as well as other ethnic minorities by grouping them all together and telling them how to think, it's also demonising white people. I mean, it's not really helping anyone, is it?
No, and it really is attacking really the heart of what we as a society can be at our best, which is individualism, objectivity. Meritocracy is not perfect, but it's something that we're striving to get better at. But what they'll say about meritocracy, which is interesting, they'll say, since we don't have a perfect meritocracy, therefore the ideal itself is compromised and we need to go in a different direction. I think that's wrong.